I ultimately had an emergency C-section again under general anesthesia, and I missed the birth of my own child. And that's when they said, okay, we have no other option than to put you to sleep because the baby needs to come out. Okay, so by that time I was just like, I couldn't cry, but in the inside I was crying a lot. Hey Pooh, what is up? Oh my gosh, it's been a while. Hey. Girl, it's been over 2 months that I've last uploaded a video here on YouTube, but it's for a good reason though, okay? I have a baby now. This is my second baby. This is baby girl Nia. Her name is Nia. Yeah, she's currently 1.5 months old. And yeah, she's still a newborn, and I tried to film this video several times already, but she won't let me talk, so I have to hold her. I have to sit here and hold her the whole time because yeah, it's the only way it's gonna work out for this moment. Okay, we gotta do what we gotta do. Okay, this is life of a new mom, second time new mom. Okay, I have 2 kids now. It's crazy to say that. I'm a mom of 2 children, 2 girls. My oldest one is almost 3 years old, so I try to manage it, but let me talk about that more later. Anyways, yeah, this is like strange to film a video again because I had to take some time off, girl. Like, it was just getting a lot. I stopped uploading videos before, like some weeks before I gave birth, like 2 weeks before giving birth, because it was getting very heavy for me. Taking care of like toddler while being super pregnant. Also, I have had some health complications, and I had to go to the hospital daily to monitor the baby, to monitor me, and this and that. So it was taking a lot of time. I didn't have the energy to upload or work or grind and hustle and doing all that extra stuff. So I just, took a break of all social media, no Instagram, no YouTube, no nothing. That was definitely needed, okay? Because it was not easy. Anyways, I gave birth to a healthy baby girl, and I gave birth on December 12th. So she's like 7 weeks or 8 weeks. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. That's like being a second time mom. When you have a child for the first time, you're like on track with everything. With your second baby, you're like, yeah, whatever. Like, we'll see what happens, we'll figure it out. Let me know in the comment section if you can relate, okay? So yeah, I just wanted to come back to YouTube again now that I've like processed everything. Postpartum is not easy. I'm definitely gonna talk about it, what happened and everything, because it was not easy at all. Still is not easy, but I've come to terms with everything that happened. I'm gonna talk about it in this video. First, I was like, let me vlog my labor and delivery and put something nice together and put it on YouTube, whatever. But then I was like, when it happened, what happened, I was like, hell no, I'm gonna vlog. I'm not in the mood for pictures. When you're in active labor, you're not in the mood for pictures or vlogging or whatever. I want to talk about what happened during my labor because nothing went according to plan. As you can see, probably by the thumbnail of this video and the title, I ultimately had an emergency C-section again under general anesthesia, which means they put me to sleep and I missed the birth of my own child. That is not fun. That was definitely something that I've always said to myself. I do not want to be asleep when I'm having a C-section. Like, I want to see everything. Like, I want to hold my baby when she's born, this and that. Like, but that didn't happen at all. I don't know if you guys are familiar with my story of the birth of my first child, Amari. She's currently 3 years old, so she's very happy and healthy right now. But obviously, if you know what happened, nothing went according to plan as well with her birth, because I had an emergency C-section as well at 29 weeks pregnant, which is like 7 months pregnant. So she was born 2.5 months too early, which is very critical. She was in the hospital in NICU for 2 months. Very hectic period, very emotional, very sad. I was suffering a lot. It was during the time when COVID was going strong in 2020, and lockdown just happened, and there were no visitors allowed. I had to go to the hospital all alone every day, and it was very depressing for me. So that definitely gave me a trauma. Anyways, for the birth of my second child, my OBGYN was like, you don't need to have a C-section again, because I carried this baby full term, luckily, okay? I gave birth at 39 weeks pregnant, which is amazing. That's 9 months pregnant. I did have some health complications. I'm not going to talk about that right now because it's not important anymore. And the baby was, at the end of my pregnancy, not growing so well. She was rather small, but it was still okay, but her heart rate was very irregular. So it was up and down, up and down. That's why I had to be monitored closely the last weeks before giving birth. So ultimately, my OBGYN said, okay, let's get this baby out. We have to induce you because you cannot continue like this, okay? So she had to induce me on the 11th of December, and the baby was born on the 12th of December. And the induction itself, my labor and delivery, nothing went according to plan. Nothing. It was a mess. And I hated it. No, seriously, I'm laughing now, but at that time, I was disappointed. Yeah, definitely disappointed with how it went. Not disappointed with the nurses and the doctors and everything, but just what happened to me again. It was just something that I never wanted for myself. So they induced me with a balloon. I don't know if you're familiar with the process, but if you're a mom, you probably know about this stuff. So they basically started my labor going artificially with a balloon. So they inserted a balloon filled with water, a small balloon, right, into my cervix. So the cervix could soften a little bit and my water could break, so my cervix could dilate, and so I could start having contractions, right? And they told me, like, it's probably gonna take some time until your contractions start, so you can get some rest. You can sleep a little bit because you're gonna need some sleep for your labor tomorrow morning. Okay, so they were like, we're gonna monitor you during the night, we're gonna monitor your baby during the night, and by the next morning we're probably going to break your waters if it didn't happen during the night already, but it's probably going to be happening tomorrow because you never had given birth vaginally. So and I was like, okay, no worries. So I told my man, you can go home and get some rest. And that was the worst thing I've ever said. Basically, the hospital that I was staying at is 15 minutes from our home. So it's basically not a problem to get there fast. If something happens, I just call him and he's there in 15 minutes. So that's not an issue at all. So I was just like, okay, go home and get some rest because I want to sleep too. I don't want to be disturbed. I want to be, fully rested for tomorrow morning when they break my waters and I'm probably going to start having contractions by then. He went home. I started to sleep a little bit because it was like 10 o'clock at night that time. Like around 1 o'clock in the morning, I was just like feeling cramps and whatever, and just feeling like the cramps were not like just like period cramps. They were like a little bit extra. I was like, what is this? Because I've never experienced contractions because, I had an emergency C-section at 7 months. So I didn't know how it felt like having contractions, but that were like the beginning contractions. 1 hour later, the nurse came and I was telling her all that stuff, and she checked me and she was like, oh, your water just broke. And I was like, what? Really? Mind you, during the induction process, they also gave me some medication to start the contractions going. Okay, so the medication they gave me was probably pretty heavy. They were like, maybe they were like, okay, this is going to take some time, so we're going to give her some extra medication to start, having contractions and all that kind of stuff. At like 2 o'clock, my water broke. So she checked me, whatever. She gave me some information, this and that. And when she left, like 10 minutes later, the first contraction really hit me. Like, it was heavier than before my water broke. And I was like 1 centimeter dilated, and was like, this is just 1 centimeter dilated, and I feel like this pain, but this much pain already. So anyways, they moved me to the labor and delivery suite because I was in active labor by then. And I was like, okay, let me call my man. I called him. His phone was off. I was like, okay, strange. But the thing was, my mom was also at my place because she took care of my oldest daughter because she had to go to school and stuff. So she was taking care of her the whole time I was in the hospital. So I was just like, okay, let me just call my mom to wake him up, right? So I called my mom. She didn't answer her phone. And the first time in my life, she never does not answer her phone. She always picks up the phone. So I was like, this is very strange. Anyways, I was just like, okay, let me just call back later. So an hour passes by. The contractions were very intense. And you know, when your water breaks and you had extra medications to start contractions, that hurts, man. Like man, that hurt. I was in so much pain at some point that I was vomiting the whole time. Every time a contraction came, I had to feel like that I had to vomit. So I was in my labor and delivery suite all alone, having contractions, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I asked the nurses, the midwives for help, and they helped me, whatever. But still, I needed, you know, support next to me. Like, I needed my man to be there for me and hold my hand and help me breathe and, you know, support my back and massage my back and everything. You know, that's normal if you give birth. Anyways, hours passed by. I called my mom like 40 times. I called his phone 40 times. No one picked up the phone. I was freaking out, but at the same time I was having contractions, this and that. I was having the worst time ever, all alone in my labor and delivery suite, trying to manage my breathing, which was a mess. My head was just in a different place because of the pain. If you know what contractions feel like, you know it's the most painful thing ever. It's not like a period cramp. It's like a period cramp times a million. It's very, very painful. At 7 o'clock in the morning, I knew that my mom would wake up, get Amari ready for school. And by that time, she probably saw her phone. So at 7 o'clock, she called me and I was like, someone needs to come right now. So I was like really in a bad state. Like, at that time, I was 5 centimeters dilated, and my mom was like, oh my gosh, whoa. And then 30 minutes later, my man came. Luckily, he was there at the hospital, and he was like, oh my gosh, I fell asleep, like, and my phone battery died. Like, whoa, this was not, like, I'm so sorry. I was not even in a mood to, like, give a speech or a lecture or anything. I was not even in the mood to tell him how much I was suffering. I was just like, let's just continue. And, like, you know, my contractions started to get worse and worse every time, because by that time when he came, I was given an epidural. I asked for an epidural, so I was just like, okay, I know relief is coming. I can take it easy after this epidural, and I'm gonna have some rest, you know, and everything's gonna be okay. This pain is going to be over soon, whatever. That's what I was thinking. So that's why I was just like, okay, chill, we got this, let's just continue, right? At that time, doctors came in and out of the room all the time, and I've gotten my epidural and I was laying down, but you know, I didn't feel anything. Even 30 minutes later, I was having the worst contractions still. I asked, like, is this normal? I know I've had an epidural before. Like, I know it works fast, but I'm still sitting here feeling everything. I can move my legs, I can move my butt, I can move around. What is going on? And they were like, let's just up the dose, you know, of the epidural. And nothing happened. The epidural just didn't work. I was getting very frustrated. At some point, an OBGYN came into the room and she explained to me, yeah, we've been monitoring you the whole time and baby, and we've been noticing that the baby's heart rate is dropping severely, okay? And it's just not responding well to all the medications you've been taking during your pregnancy. And then this epidural, she's very weak at this moment, and she's not gonna make it until you have to push out the baby. So we're gonna have to perform a C-section. And I was like, okay, I know, like, this is the only option, but I was still very disappointed because I don't want to have another C-section, because I know the recovery of a C-section is not a joke. C-section is major abdominal surgery. They cut through 7 or 9 layers in your belly. They cut through nerves, they cut through your abs, and then they put it all back together. Like, it's just not something stupid. It's a major surgery. I knew how difficult I had it with my first child, so I was not happy, but it was the only option, right? So I was just like, okay, let's get this baby out, because I was having still the worst contractions and I was done with it. So I was just, let's just get things rolling. I'm not gonna be difficult about it. I'm not gonna cry about it right now. I just want to have my baby happy and healthy in my arms as soon as possible. They prepared me for my C-section, but I was still having the worst contractions during that time. And I was still not feeling the epidural, and that was not normal. We were waiting the whole time until the epidural started working, and it was starting to work slowly. I was starting to feel a bit more numb after like an hour or something like that. We were literally waiting an hour in the operating room until the epidural started to kick in fully, because I was still feeling everything. At some point, the doctor said, like, we need to move because the heart rate is dropping. The baby needs to come out right now. And that's when they said, okay, we have no other option than to put you to sleep because the baby needs to come out. Okay, so by that time, I was just like, I couldn't cry, but in the inside, I was crying a lot, because that was something that I would never want for myself, because that's a very, very heavy procedure again. And I knew I'm going to miss everything. And that was something, like, that was a very hard pill to swallow for me, but I was like, at that time, I was just cooperating, right? I said, okay, do what you gotta do. And they put me to sleep. And that was it. That was the birth of my child. They put me to sleep. And then, I woke up and they were like calling my name, Amber, hi. And I woke up and they were like, here's your baby. I was just like, not like realizing what happened before, that I was even pregnant, that I had a baby. Like, I didn't really realize everything because I was high. I was like on a different planet. On every picture I have, when I woke up and holding my baby for the first time, I was just like looking like this. My eyes were not even open. The nurse was like, here's your baby. And I was like, what? Huh? It was just a very strange moment. So I got to hold her for like a few minutes, whatever. And then they drove me to the recovery room to fully wake up, and to monitor me if everything was going well. So she was born, and I've got to hold her only like 2 hours later. Really got to hold her and get to know her and cuddle with her and do like skin to skin, because before I couldn't. So her dad took care of her during that whole time while I was in surgery, while they stitched me up, while I was waking up, and while I was in the recovery. Like, her dad got to hold her the whole time, and I didn't. And it's not that I mind that he held her for the first time, but it's just like, it feels unfair. No, it's like, no, not that it's unfair, but it's just like, you did all that effort, all that work, and you're not even able to hold your baby. It's very, it's difficult. It's still difficult. Ultimately, she's okay. During the surgery, they had some issues. There were issues. The baby was blue when she came out, apparently, what her dad told, and she didn't breathe immediately. They had to put some effort in it to make her cry, and that was also for him very traumatic to see, because with everything that's going on, he sees me on one hand being like laying on the table, and then he sees the baby. He doesn't know if he's happy or if he's sad or just happy because he sees me, but then he sees the baby, but then the baby is not responding to anything. And it's just a lot. It was a lot for him as well. It's a lot for me. And yeah, I don't know. It was just not a fun experience at all. So that's why I really had to take some time off again after giving birth to process everything, because I was having a hard time with accepting it, what happened and how it happened. And yeah, because that was just something that I never had in mind that it could happen to me. I was happy that I had a healthy baby with me now, this time really next to me, and I'm able to hold her and everything. But I was feeling very crappy at that time, and it was just a lot. But now I've come to terms with it, and I'm happy I've come to terms with it. Also, she's a happy baby. She's a very happy and easy baby to take care of, and that also helps. The nights are still, difficult. I'm still sleep deprived, very sleep deprived. I haven't slept since months, because I'm taking care of this baby, and my other child, she wakes up as well. Like the whole month of December, she was very sick, and she had the flu season was going strong, so it was just a lot going on. Sleep deprived mom right here, and that does a lot with a person's mental health as well. Mentally, I feel okay, not really in the best state, but it's normal. I know the newborn phase is very difficult. It's a very tough time because you're not able to get some sleep, and you're still recovering from your C-section. I was recovering. I couldn't do anything, and on top of that, emotionally, I was not really okay. So I knew for myself that I'm not gonna put the bar too high, and after giving birth, post everything and create content and do all this extra stuff. I really had to take it easy, had to take a step back and reflect on everything and just take care of myself and take care of my 2 kids. Now I'm here, I'm back, I'm better. Not where I want to be, but that's normal. It's just been not even 2 months ago that I've experienced this whole traumatic experience, so I'm still getting it together, but I know I'm gonna get there, okay? But one thing I feel ready for is to start uploading videos again whenever I can, as much as I can. I'm not gonna push myself super hard, but I know I'm gonna upload twice a week again, because I have pre-filmed actually during that time that I was off, pre-filmed videos. So yeah, all that's left to do is edit them, upload them, schedule them, and yeah, we're good to go. So I'm really starting to get on a roll again when it comes to my content schedule. That's something that I'm happy about. But yeah, that's a bit what happened, and I feel like talking about it more in different videos and vlogs and whatever. So if you're interested in, this new journey, definitely keep watching and following me on my YouTube and on my Instagram as well, because I post a ton of stuff on Instagram stories daily. Okay, so definitely follow me there as well. Okay. So thank you so much for sticking with me all this time, and I knew I've been gone for so long, but I don't want to do that anymore, okay? I want to get back to my regular routine, back to my regular self. So that's what we're working on. And if you want to follow me on this journey, definitely subscribe, like this video, comment, keep on watching my videos, push the bell notification button so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. Girl, because there's a lot more coming, okay? Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'm gonna see you soon. Bye-bye.